I never thought I'd say this, but we as Americans need to take some notes from Serbia. Yeah, you heard that right, and I guarantee by the end of this video, you will agree. Because not only did Serbian citizens just peacefully protest their way to shutting down their own dictator's blatant corruption, they also simultaneously thwarted our grifter-in-chief, Dictator Von Don, from getting a massive multi-million-dollar illegal deal to bulldoze a Serbian national monument and build a fucking Trump Tower over it. And as Rachel Maddow exposes in this quite literal bombshell of a story, at least in theory, if they have the ability to do it, then so should we. Because of all the things the Serbians used to take down our king, they beat him with the rule of law. So buckle up, drop a like and subscribe, put your patriotic pride aside and take notes, because frankly, this is what DC should look like every day.
Serbia has a president that is kind of their version of Donald Trump. And protests against him like this have been sweeping that country. They started small, and week after week, they just grew and grew to the point where, frankly, it has become hard to imagine that Serbian president is going to be able to stay in office.
Yeah, but the dictator stuff is just scratching the surface of the similarities between their president and ours. Listen to why these protests started.
These started over something that at first was billed as an accident. Started over something that happened in November of last year. A roof, kind of a canopy at a train station collapsed and 16 people were killed. And that event, that tragedy, sparked protests against the authoritarian government in that country. Because even though that might have seemed like an accident, everybody knows that authoritarians are, say it with me now, always corrupt. And so the protesters in this country realized instantly that had they had a good government, a not corrupt government, that concrete canopy at the rail station would have been built by a qualified contractor, not just the one who was connected or the one that paid the biggest bribes.
Well, authoritarian regime not paying your contractors, blatant corruption in front of your people, and then loss of life because of failing infrastructure from said blatant corruption. Are you seeing the parallels, people? All right, we get it, Kenny, but aside from the parallels, where exactly does Trump fit in with this? Well, I'm glad you asked, and I hope you put that seatbelt on, folks.
And in the face of those protests in that country, the eldest son of the President of the United States, Donald Trump Jr., has made multiple trips to Serbia to try to shore up their very Trumpy president against these calls from the millions of people in the streets demanding that guy resign. Why would Donald Trump Jr. like that guy so much? Why would Donald Trump Jr. be willing to travel all the way to Serbia more than once to try to shore this guy up? Guess. So in the middle of the capital city of Serbia, there is a ruined building. Used to be the headquarters of what was then the Yugoslav army, is now the Serbian army. And in 1999, that army headquarters building was bombed by NATO. All but destroyed it, that bombing. That was 26 years ago. And that country has never repaired that building right in the center of their capital city. They have preserved that wrecked building as a memorial to what happened in the war in the Balkans, to what happened in the NATO bombing campaign against their country. That ruined building is preserved officially as a national heritage site, a protected monument in that country. And Donald Trump would like to tear that monument down and build a luxury hotel and apartment tower there. Their Serbia plan to have the first ever Trump Tower in Europe? Their Serbia plan is to tear down the most recognizable national heritage site monument in that entire country and turn it into Trump Tower Belgrade, Trump Tower Serbia or something. It will be a joint operation between the Kushner family and the Trump family.
All right, I know that sounds shitty and corrupt, but I promise right now you will find out the absolute minuscule illegal detail of corruption that the Trump family and the Serbian president tried to do that got exposed and dropped in a total bomb, a figurative bomb, on Trump's plans to build this tower. Please enjoy as we finally get a bit of catharsis against this corrupt grifter-in-chief.
Now, how can they do this, given that it's a national heritage site and protected under law? Well, that's one of those times where it comes in handy that there's no rule of law. Somehow the very Trumpy authoritarian president of that country, somehow he was able to come up with some kind of waiver, some kind of permission slip that said, actually, that site is no longer a protected national heritage site. But now, guess what has happened? This whole mess is all now falling apart. Headline: Trump-Kushner hotel project in Serbia hits snag. Alleged forgery. Forgery? What? Quote, the Trump family's $500 million luxury hotel project in Serbia, slated to be built on the site of a bombed-out defense ministry building, has run into an embarrassing complication. A key document the Serbian government has relied on to deliver this deal was forged, said officials this week. The leader of the Serbian agency charged with protecting cultural monuments admitted to authorities that he had forged a document allowing the former Yugoslav Ministry of Defense headquarters in Belgrade to be demolished and replaced with a Trump hotel. Officials said the agency's leader fabricated an expert opinion to justify the government's decision to strip the site of its cultural heritage status. The forged document served as the legal basis for lifting protection from the complex. The official has served as acting director of the Institute for the Protection of Cultural Monuments since June. He now faces criminal charges of abuse of office and forgery of official documents. Darn that rule of law! If it wasn't for the remaining rule of law and for those meddling kids, now maybe there never will be a Trump Tower in Europe. Quote, Mr. Kushner's company said in a statement, quote, we will review this matter and determine next steps. Womp womp. Sad trombone.
Womp womp indeed. Isn't it incredible how corruption speeds the process up and makes things go so quickly for just a little while until you get hit by the roadblocks of massive protests and the rule of law. And like I said at the start of show, folks, if that can happen in Serbia, then it damn well needs to happen here. $400 million jets for his personal library, Trump meme coins, people, foreign entities paying to have dinner with the guy. Honestly, MAGA, and I say this with all due respect, when the hell are you gonna get his boot out of your mouth and his fist out of your own ass and see that he doesn't give a damn about you and nothing he does is America first? Have fun without habeas corpus, MAGA, and shout out to Rachel Maddow for doing the due diligence and the real journalism that needs to continue to happen in this country, lest we fall into the dim-witted darkness of the Make America Great Again movement. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you guys in the next one.